Hey guys, I'm Priyanka and you're watching another episode of my vlog The Second Librarian, where I complain about not having the time to record more videos and talk about books less. Well, that's been the case so far, but I'm trying to be consistent here. So we've been a fair amount of time into the lockdown in this year, and 6 months have passed already, where I've been catching up on reading as much as I could. And so far I've read about 18 books, which does include Mills and Boone. Do not judge. The lockdown has been really tough. Okay, a girl's gotta do what a girl's gotta do. But that being said, I'll be taking 3 books out of all the ones that I have read, and talking about those, the 3 best books that I have read from January to July 2020. So the first book that I'll be picking from the lot is Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zappia. This book is about love, it's about friendship, and it's most importantly about mental health, something that we all need to address at this point in our lives. Not just during lockdown when the issues have drastically increased, but even in normal, day-to-day life, mental health issues are something that need to be normalized, and that's something that's just an aspect of what this book talks about. This book was recommended by Clockwork Reads, one of my favorite bloggers, and I had to pick it up the second she described it. This book is about the girl called Eliza who meets Wallace. Eliza is a really shy girl who happens to be the queen or the creator of a fandom, of which Wallace is a huge part of. Now, Eliza's identity online, into that internet forum where her comics and stories go, her actual identity is not revealed, and Wallace somehow ends up being friends with her but does not know her identity. And then of course there's a little some complications that arise from that. While the tone of the book is really light, I really love the fact that they have addressed the issue of mental health so well. For the most part of the book, even the reader doesn't realize how severely Eliza is damaged from the inside. I think depression is something that has to be handled and diagnosed only by professionals. I have been through it, and I did not realize for the longest time that I had it. I used to live in denial, and I used to sort of act out in other ways. This is quite a while ago, and that's how after of course I had therapy, I started talking more openly about it. It's somewhat exactly what happens to Eliza, where she doesn't realize that she's going through something until 3/4 of the book, when you're so invested in her and you really connect to her. People, I think, who have been through any sort of mental health issues, they have to read this book. So I mean, you have to read to understand that. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. There are several aspects of this book, but what I really loved was the mental health one. So yeah, this is my top pick for the first 6 months of 2020. The second book that I'm going to pick is a rather controversial one. I think after the book release, there were polarized opinions about it. There is no in-between about this book. It released, I think, in January this year, and I bought it the day it released because the synopsis really intrigued me. It's called Credence by Penelope Douglas. It was my first Penelope Douglas, and there are hardcore fans of Pen Dug out there. This book is essentially a romance erotica, but it's highly taboo. There are certain angles to it, certain aspects to it that you're just gonna go, while you're reading, you're like, okay, I am uncomfortable. I am gonna leave this book here and just get out of the room to breathe a little. Yeah, some scenes are quite hot in there, I will agree. This book is about the girl called Tiernan, who loses her parents while she's in her teens. She's not been very loved by her parents. She's just been a loner all her life. Now her parents pass away, and one day randomly she gets a call after they pass away from her uncle somewhere in Colorado that she has a family there, extended family. He's her step uncle, Jack. And on a whim, she packs her bags and decides to go. Now there she also has 2 cousins that she never knew about. In the mountains of Colorado, where these 3 men live, her uncle and his 2 sons, where they live, 6 months is like normal time, you can just walk around and be whatever. But 6 months almost, there is complete snowfall, and their home is blocked out from the rest of the civilization. So they have to sort of stock up for 6 months. Why I'm talking about this is that when she goes there, there's already tensions building between her and her step uncle, her and her two cousin brothers. And yeah, I mean, they're not technically blood related, but yeah, you will find it fairly taboo that okay, how can you do that, even if he's your step uncle. The book is fairly a big read. It's about 490 pages if I'm not wrong, but it's around that length, and it's quite intense. This has a lot of emotions involved in it. So like I said, it's going to be very polarizing. Either you will love it or you will hate it. I am going to hell for loving this book. Of course, there's romance. It's slightly, it's hot, and it gets too steamy sometimes. That being said, Tiernan's character arc is shown beautifully. I really like how at the start of the book, she's just this completely, numb girl to someone who learns how to belong and learns how to love. Again, not giving out too many spoilers, but you should really check out the synopsis, and if you're into romance erotica, give this one a try. I really liked it. The third book that I'm going to talk about is The Broken Girls. Now, I sort of just stumbled across it on Goodreads, and of course, Venice True Timelines is history and does a murder mystery and does paranormal is completely my cup of tea. So I picked it up. I wasn't honestly expecting a lot out of it. It's by Simone St. James, and this was again my first book of hers. I think all the three authors that I'm mentioning here, they were the first books of those that I have been reading, and I definitely like to read more of those. The Broken Girls is essentially about this one girl. She's a journalist, much relate, who starts investigating the death of her sister that happened decades ago, and she's just not able to get over it, along with something that happens 50 years ago, which is again a girl goes missing, and there's it's not explicitly said whether it's a murder or not. In both the cases, people start believing that the area, this particular hostel where the girl's body was found, in both the timelines, that particular hostel is haunted. And well, it is haunted. It's not exactly a very big spoiler, but it plays a very important part in weaving the threads throughout the book. What is most noteworthy, what I really loved, was how the paranormal aspect as well as the crime mystery both sort of weave in together beautifully, and towards the end there's like a nice conclusion to it. It's amazing how friendship can go throughout ages. That's also something that you should be looking out for. It's about how women come together when the need arises, and how throughout time, throughout ages, women are always having each other's backs. So that's another aspect that I really loved. Fair warning, do not read The Broken Girls without having someone around you, one, or read it in broad daylight. Do not read it before sleeping. I legit did not sleep for I don't know, 2 or 3 nights, and I had nightmares. So while it is not entirely paranormal, it's just a part of it, but that particular part is so scary that well, I did not sleep, and that's saying something because I do read a fair lot of horror, but I'm also a big fat too. So yeah, definitely. So Broken Girls is my third pick. Well, I shouldn't say this, but I'm sorry that my hair is so frizzy throughout the video. Believe me, it's the humidity. I don't know if you can see, but it's been raining cats and dogs since last night, and no matter what amount of the hair potions or serums I apply, my hair just refuses to sit straight. But I had to shoot a video, so not that I'm just really conscious about my looks, guys.